Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here, welcoming you to this week's Tuesday Trophy Update, or Tuesday Trophy Talk. Anyway, today's date is Tuesday, March the 4th of 2025, so this will have covered the week of February the 25th through March the 3rd of 2025. This was a reasonably productive week overall. I'm pretty happy with everything that happened because I got a couple of platinum trophies and made some progress on another game. The only thing is they're all from the exact same franchise and I've been playing them for several weeks now, so it's not anything insanely unique just yet. But there are a few other things to address very quickly. Astrobot now has 3 of its levels released. So only 2 more weeks until we get the rest of that, and I can go back and get the 100% in that DLC. I'm sure I'll stream that, just like I did with the other DLCs. Then we have Power Wash Simulator, the DLC, the Wallace and Gromit one, I believe actually comes out today. So by the time this video's gone up, I should be starting up playing this. So definitely excited for that. Love me some Power Wash. Though, again, I do kind of wish they would only do it on the PS5 instead of both PS5 and PS4. Because I've actually heard rumors even that the next Call of Duty game in 2025 might still release on the PS4 for some stupid reason. And as one other update, it has been Fosnoct week, so I have been spending a lot of time on Fallout 76 playing around in Fosnoct, having a good time with that. It's always a very nice time of year, usually the one time where you can really get a whole lot of the community to come back together and play. So yeah, it's been fun, been logging into that a lot more. The reason why Black Ops 3 is installed for new viewers is because I'm working on a guide with a friend on PSN Profiles related to that game, so that's why it's there. That guide's maybe like, I don't know, 40% of the way done, so we're making progress slowly. But speaking of actual progress, we're going to start out with Sly 1 for the PS5, which I obtained the Platinum Trophy in about a week. So this is by far the shortest of the Sly games, especially of the PS4, PS5 Sly games, as you can complete it all within about 8 hours if you know what you're doing. I mean, it's a much shorter game, it's a much more simplistic game. There are a lot of collectibles, but the levels are pretty short and there's not an insane number of them. So each episode, there's only 5 episodes in this game, and they're all fairly similar in terms of their trophy design. So with each one, you have to complete all jobs within the whole episode, which might be like 7-ish. I want to say it's either 7 or 8 jobs per episode. Then you have to open up all the vaults, which requires you to collect all the clue bottles on every major exploration level, of which there can be anywhere from 20 to 40 clue bottles, but most of them are right out there in the open and very easy to find. And then you have to defeat the boss of each area. Sir Raleigh is probably the second easiest boss in the game, so you don't have to worry too much about him. Then Sunset Snake Eyes with Mugshot. This area is a little bit tougher, and Mugshot's definitely on the harder end of the boss fights in the game, just because it's a little bit janky, everything you have to do with it, knocking the mirrors around. Vicious Voodoo, the levels are definitely a little bit trickier here once again, and Ms. Ruby is one of the harder boss fights. Mostly not because of it actually being difficult, but because the audio is not synced correctly. Like, the music isn't synced correctly to the button presses, so it can be kind of annoying to get through that way, or at least without, like, taking damage or anything. Then Fire in the Sky, this is the Panda King area. These missions are fairly straightforward overall, they're just longer, and Panda King's probably the easiest boss in the game. And then you just have 2 trophies here for defeating the final boss of the game. That final area doesn't have any clue bottles or open areas, it's just basically a few mini games and then the boss fight. And then we have mission-specific trophies or job-specific trophies for about 3 jobs per area. So in the first episode of the game, you have a stealthy approach, which is the very first mission of the game, after the prologue, of course. And this one's very, very easy. There's plenty of signs laying around. Then Fire Down Below, this is one of the ones where it's like at the very beginning you're supposed to jump on some hooks and ride them around, but it's pretty easy to skip them. Cunning Disguise, this one takes maybe a couple of tries to get through. You need to pretty much have a golden horseshoe to do it so you can tank a couple of hits at a couple of places, and you need to be able to roll correctly. And then we get to the Gunboat Grave. Oh wait, yeah, this one actually had 4 in it, sure did. Gunboat Graveyard, this one takes a couple of tries because it requires a perfectly placed jump while using the slowdown ability, or at least that's how I was able to get it. Then we get into the second episode. So the 7 panes of glass, this is pretty easy. You just have to destroy all of them. There's like 4 right at the beginning and then 3 at the very end. 5 cars and straight to the top. You're going to get this one naturally while getting all the clue bottles in this level, because there's a clue bottle on top of each of the cars you can jump on to drop them. This one might take just a couple of tries because stealth wasn't really as, I guess you could say, fleshed out yet. Basically, you kill the very first guard and then sort of try to isolate the next 2, kill each of them separately, and then sneak behind the last one. And then this one is also in that area. This one actually isn't too bad thanks to the rewind feature, because once again, this game features the rewind feature, which makes things a whole lot easier. So with this one, it's the one where Carmelita's shooting at you. But thanks to the rewind feature and the fact that in this game where Blaster's really, really slow compared to like Sly 2, it's not too bad. Then we get to Area 3. I would say this was one of the more annoying areas when it came to the miscellaneous trophies. So with these, the voodoo guards, this one, there's like one guard right at the beginning of the section with the guards that's really hard to get without being detected. So I don't know if I was just doing something wrong. Maybe I should have just thrown out like the bomb hat or something. I'm not entirely sure. But the rest of the guards after that aren't too bad because you can isolate them pretty easily. This one's bugged, so that's wonderful. This one's extremely buggy. It would not unlock for me for like 10 straight minutes of attempts. So just keep that in mind. Only certain attacks seem to work. I've looked at different videos of it. Can't see anything consistent about it. So yeah, that one's buggy, so that's always fun. This one's not too bad. Just remember that it's there because you're going to be getting chased by like a giant gator-type monster. And then I think that this was in the 4th area, but I could be wrong on that. I don't really remember exactly what this requires, but I think it was in the... No, wait, I think it was in the 3rd area as well. Yeah, this one was in the 3rd area, I believe. You just have to basically avoid hitting everything. Then collect 5 clue bottles is unmissable. It's one of the first trophies you'll get in the game. And then we have our Area 4 trophies, of which these were all actually fairly straightforward. This one basically just let yourself keep getting alerted, though you might take a hit in there somewhere. This one is a little bit time-consuming because there's like 9 monkeys on platforms that you have to jump down to and climb back up and jump back down to each time. And this one's very, very easy. It's at the beginning of the level. Now, there is one safe, one vault in this area, and it's on this particular mission that you can't open until you've actually beaten the story, because for some reason it's written in like owl language or something, so you can't get the last vault until you've actually finished the story. Then this one is best done in that Sunset Snake Eyes level with those guards at the beginning of the casino area. Then this one, you don't get this ability until kind of late in the game, so then just start using it as often as you can. And if you have to, you can always just go back to a previous area and just quickly take a look at different enemies and you can knock it out quickly. Both of these are unlocked by getting all the vaults opened. Then this is actually a story-related trophy at the very end of the game. And then we have by far the hardest trophy in the game, the Master Thief Sprints. Basically, on all of the normal platforming levels, of which I think there's about 20 of them, there is a Master Thief Sprint that you can do, and it requires you to beat the level in a very short amount of time. A few of these are fairly easy overall, but most of them are going to require you to know somewhat of how the speedrunning tactics in this game work. You're going to have to be able to make some trickier jumps. You're going to have to know which enemies to kill versus avoid. You're going to have to know the path perfectly, and oftentimes you are going to need to know some speedrunning tactics. So just do keep that in mind. This one is by far the hardest trophy. Several of these challenges are just brutally, brutally hard, I found out when I was streaming the game. So, yeah, by far the worst trophy in the game, but thank God you don't have to do all of them. And plus, with the rewind feature, it still makes things easier, but I imagine if you had to do all 20 of them, this platinum would be like probably at least a 5 out of 10, because a few of them are just insanely hair-pulling in terms of being difficult. I think I ended up doing all of the ones in Vicious Voodoo. I think I actually did all of those. I did 2 in the Panda King area that were both actually fairly easy. Then I think I did maybe 2 each in the first and second areas, I think is what I ended up doing. And it's maybe a slightly different pattern for me for the PS4 version of the game, which we'll get to in a second. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to come back to this game. The actual gameplay and just beating it and all is great. The Master Thief Sprints are definitely a little bit obnoxious, but thankfully got through them. And now we go on to the PS4 version of the game. Currently, I have finished the first 2 areas of the game completely. Haven't yet started on the 3rd or 4th areas, or the 5th area, obviously, but I've done all the miscellaneous trophies so far in the first 2 areas. Knocked pretty much everything out in like 1 or 2 nights, I believe. Or did I... Oh no, did I do all of them in one night? Yeah, I think I did do all of them in one night. So all of... Yeah, that's what it's looking like, unless I did something... Yeah, I think so, okay. So pretty much got all the trophies in just a single night so far. So, of course, haven't gotten off to the Voodoo area, Vicious Voodoo area, Episode 3, whatever you want to call it, so still haven't gotten there. Why is that a silver trophy on this version? Wait, what? Hang on. That's weird. Wait, 5, 9, and 22. That's kind of weird, because that is definitely a bronze trophy on the PS5 version, right? I wonder if they changed any of the other ones, actually. That makes me actually wonder now. That's really weird, because that's such an easy trophy. I don't know, maybe they had something weird with the trophy values or something, who knows. And then I went ahead and knocked this one out because it's pretty early on in the game. Still don't have the Monocucom thing yet, and I've already gotten this ability. And so far, what the... Okay, hang on just a second. Why would they change... Why would they make the Clue Bottle trophy go up to a silver and downgrade the one really hard trophy to a bronze? Well, that's weird. I honestly have no idea why that is. I can't tell if the numbers are going to end up being the same. I guess I'll find that out once I finish this game in the next few days. But that's really, really weird. I have no idea why they would do that. Okay then, well, learn something new every day, I guess. And finally, we have Sly 2 on the PS4, so finished off this one. It's the exact same list as the PS5, though now I'm curious to see if it actually has the same trophy breakdown. So it's 4, 16, and 14. It has the same breakdown, but I honestly have to wonder if any of the other trophies ended up changed, because now I'm... Okay then, now I'm actually curious, but maybe I'll look into that later. So, of course, with this game, it is probably the easiest of the 3 Sly games of the modern list, because it's mostly just, 100%ing the game, which is just finding collectibles and finishing missions is a vast majority of it. Plus, you can take multiple hits in this game, which is also kind of nice. So you have 8 episodes to complete. You just have to complete all 8 episodes and open the vault in each of them, which requires you to find 30 clue bottles per level, and then open the vault. So there's 240 total clue bottles, and they're all in basically open world areas. Most of them are very easy to find, like 95% of them are easy to find. A few of them might be a little bit out of the way. Might need to look at a guide for them. And then you have 1 or 2 miscellaneous trophies for each episode. This one you can go into his disco area, and once you're in there, you just have to break up some of the stereos and you'll get this trophy. This one, there's way more than 10 laying around throughout the world, and I think you can smash the same ones multiple times after different missions. Then this one you can't do until episode 6 when you get access to the hover pack. So once you get that, you can climb up the palace pretty easily, but just keep in mind you can't do this till later. This one, you have to get a guard up toward the safe house, but Murray will kill him pretty quickly if you beat him up too much, so you do have to be just a little bit careful. Then this one's a little bit trickier because there's only 3 areas with these cash briefcases, and they're a little bit specific, a little bit harder to get to, so you might want to check a video before really going for this one, just because they might be a little bit more out of the way. This one's very easy, but you can't get it until later on in episode 3 when you can get into the tower turret and then just kill enemies from it. Then only 1 trophy for episode 4. This one's fairly easy once you get all of the abilities there. You have to do it quickly because then the enemies will wake up and kill you. Then you have 2 from episode 5, and both of these worked out a lot better on the PS4 version than they did on the PS5 version. Because if you remember, I had some major issues with the PS5 versions of these trophies. Like, this one just did not want to unlock pretty much no matter what I did. It took probably a good 5 minutes of just moving around and repositioning the camera. And then this one was honestly even worse. This one gave me so much trouble on the PS5 version of the game. But then I got it within 2 tries on the PS4, so I guess I just got really good luck, good RNG this time on the PS4. The 2 from episode 6 are both pretty straightforward, though defeating the bear is a little bit tricky. You're going to want to use some of Murray's special abilities. Basically get a couple hits in and then sprint away and hope you don't get hit by anything. along the way. And then this one's very easy. Once you get the music box ability, just throw it at Carmelita. She patrols the area no matter what when you go back to the level, even after you've beaten the game. The one from episode 7 is very easy. There's outhouses everywhere throughout the area, so not a problem. And the metal eggs just keep respawning all over the final area, so this one's not a problem either. You have your 3 character-specific trophies. Murray's is super easy because Fist of Flame is basically a one-shot on normal enemies. This one, you can do it in the exact same place as that one where you have to use the reduction bomb as Sly. So you can do it in the exact same place. That's probably the best place to do it. I think that was actually my last trophy. And then as Sly, pickpocket 5 pieces of loot. This one's pretty easy. Just do it in the starting area of the game where the guards are more spread out, less alert, and more likely will have some sort of treasure. Obtaining all the power-ups is fairly straightforward because you just have to purchase everything from ThiefNet. But you should get more than enough money while going for this trophy, which is, I would argue, the most problematic one in this game overall, just because it's very RNG heavy. So the pieces of loot it's talking about are the things you get when the enemies have shiny pockets. So like they'll either have not shiny pockets, which means they're just carrying money, or they'll have shiny pockets, which means they're carrying not just money, but also some sort of treasure. And there's a bunch of different treasures you can get this way, but they're completely RNG as to what you get. Like, certain treasures are locked to certain areas, like the diamonds are locked to the final area. The pens, I think, are locked to the first episode. But you do have to get most of them. There's also something like, maybe it's 24 actual treasures that you can bring back from throughout the world, so like 3 per area. So you can bring those back and they count, and then you just have the ones that you can loot from people or pickpocket from people, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of leeway. There's something like, I want to say it's maybe 55 total pieces of loot available in the game, and you have to get 50 of them, so you can't miss that many. You might just want to be careful with this one and just maybe like not set it up to where you don't have to go for like the really rare items like the diamonds in the final area that are pretty tough to get. So I did have more of an issue with this trophy this time around just because I had kind of bad RNG a lot of the time. It took me a lot longer to get this one. It was one of the last trophies I got, but it did eventually unlock. So no major complaints, just, it's RNG. It's not, one of my favorite types of trophies. So let's go ahead and sync up the video. Alright, level 890, 23%, 29,951 total trophies. Might actually be hitting 30,000 this week, so that's pretty awesome. Anyway, 859 platinums, 5,722 golds, 8,063 silvers, 15,307 bronzes. So, plans for the upcoming week. Definitely finish off the other version of Sly 1. Should definitely have that one done fairly quickly. And then, of course, get started on the new trophy list, or the new DLCs for Power Wash Simulator. Won't quite be getting back to Astrobot just yet, since there's still 2 levels left, so unless they were to release both of them at the same time, which would be kind of nice for once, but hey, it's okay, it's all free, so I don't have that many complaints. But along with that, Fallout 76 I'll be done with playing probably actually by the time this video goes up, because that's the end of Fosnoct. It's been a pretty good year, though. There's been a lot of good rewards this time, so definitely happy with that. And alongside that, the Thrillville video is coming along very well. It's probably like 75% of the way done, maybe 80%, so definitely making progress on that. Definitely will have it done fairly soon. Then we go off to Astro's Playroom, and then I don't know which one we'll do next. But yeah, having fun with that. I'm just going to need to get a good thumbnail done for it at the end, so see if I can figure out a way to do that. But otherwise, I would say that for streams this week, I would probably want to start on Sly 3. Its trophy list definitely looks a little bit more complicated. Like, I know that it's not going to be as necessarily difficult to do like the challenges and stuff, because you have the rewind feature. It's going to make a lot of the challenges way, way easier. So definitely not quite as worried about that. But, I mean, we'll get started on it at some point, and Sly 3 is definitely one of the harder overall games in the franchise. It's got a couple of really difficult boss fights in it as well. It's also one of the longer ones, even though it doesn't really have any collectibles, so we will get around to that hopefully very soon. But my family is going to be here this coming weekend, so I don't know what my stream schedule is going to look like. Definitely going to try to stream on Wednesday and maybe one other day this week, but not making any guarantees. Got to get back into making a few more shorts and farming the engagement out of those, because they actually tend to do pretty well, or at least some of them do. So, yeah, those are the main plans. Just working on Sly 1, hopefully starting Sly 3, working on Power Wash Simulator, and continuing work on the Thrillville video. And also, I don't necessarily know what my schedule is going to be like with my new job, so sometimes schedule might be mixed around a little bit, so we'll have to see about that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have been working on this past week, and I will see y'all back here later this week for some more content.